Hi kids, do you know how much area is occupied by this mat? When we say area, we mean the amount of surface covered by a given object. Hence, for finding the area, we can simply make a boundary around this mat and remove the mat to see the area it covers. And this shaded region represents the area of the mat. But is there a way to calculate the area? Let's now learn calculating the area by counting the unit squares. Notice the floor consists of many squared tiles and the side of each square tile is equal to 1 foot. Remember, in this method, the name of a unit can be a centimeter or a meter or any length measure depending on what you are using. And in our case, it is a foot. So the area of each square here is 1 square foot. Now, in order to find the area occupied by the mat, we count the number of unit squares covered by this shaded portion. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And since the area occupied by a unit square is equal to 1 square foot, hence the area covered by these 8 squares would be 8 square feet. Now, what about calculating an area of a mat with a given shape? Let's begin by drawing a boundary of this mat. What do we see? Some shaded portions occupy a complete square. Some shaded portions occupy exactly half of the square. Some more than half. Some shaded portions occupy less than half of the square. For such irregular shapes, we find an approximate area by using the following steps. In the first step, we count the number of shaded portions that occupy the complete square, and there are 6 such squares. In the second step, we count the number of shaded portions that occupy exactly half-filled square, and we have 2 such squares. Next, we count the shaded portions that occupy more than half the square. There is 1 such square and we count this square as 1. And the shaded portions that occupy less than half the square are ignored. Now that we are done with counting the squares, let's now add up the areas covered by these squares. We have 6 complete squares, so the area covered by these will be 6 square feet. We have 2 half-filled squares, so the area covered by these will be 1 square foot. And finally, the area of 1 more than half-filled squares is 1 square foot. Adding these areas, we get the approximate area covered by this mat. This method of finding the area is very useful for finding approximate area of any irregular shapes and helps us comparing areas.